A big hello and a very warm welcome to Brand Equity with me, Sonali Krishna. As you can see, this is our Diwali special, and this Diwali, I have a real special treat for you. It's something very unique as I'm joined by a very special guest. He's, of course, an advertising professional and a well-known name in the advertising world. But apart from being an advertising professional, he's also honed his talent in other areas. And more recently, it's become quite a brand by itself. Now, if you're wondering what I'm talking about, I'm talking about a man who's actually, started on a very noble journey, helping other fellow Indians try and speak the English language better. So I thought this Diwali, why not we take this to a different level? And I've invited the English nut right here for a Diwali special. Lovely to have you, the English nut. Should I call you that, or should I address you as Shimanta Chattopadhyay?
Well, today I'm in my English nut avatar.
Right.
Avatar.
Right. But welcome. So happy to actually be doing a Diwali special with you, which is actually quite different to the regular Diwali specials that we do. The English nut, which I think you launched when?
January. It was my New Year resolution.
Of 2019.
So it was in January this year.
And it's, I think it's taken off. I can tell you, I'm an ardent follower of it.
Thank
and
you.
It's done very well on all platforms, be it Insta, Facebook, all of that. And I love the fact that, you are totally bringing your A game in terms of your acting skills onto this piece. I think you are no more a dinosaur, but you're now a digital genius.
Thank you for saying that, Sonali. So I think that the reason that I started this is, first of all, it was born out of my pet peeve, which is bad English.
Yeah, which is all over.
Yeah, and I have this terrible habit. When I'm talking to colleagues and somebody makes a mistake, it's like as if it's, nobody heard it, or I just correct them and I carry on the conversation as if, I never said that. And so I said, why don't I start something based on that? So first I started writing a blog, and then everybody said, this is the age of video. And, I at least was a digital dinosaur till last year. So as part of my New Year resolution, I said that I'm going to become digital savvy, social media savvy, learn the nuts and bolts of how to run a social media account.
Thank you, English Nut, for starting this very, very, noble exercise in actually educating Indians to speak English better. And I want to start, this enlightened series or Diwali special with you, with Diwali. Right. So tell me something that is, different about Diwali, and does the English language have anything to do with Diwali at all? Is it even an English word?
Yeah. Well, I mean, today if you look up the Oxford English Dictionary, you will find the word Diwali because, Indians are like a force to reckon with in the world. So sure. It is described as a Hindu festival with lights.
Okay.
And according to the dictionary, Diwali is associated with the goddess Lakshmi,
okay,
the goddess of wealth, and it marks the beginning of the financial year in India.
Sure.
Some would say the Hindu
New Year.
Yeah. But the word itself, Diwali, comes from the Sanskrit Deepavali,
sure,
which basically just means row of lights. And as you can see, we celebrate with rows of lights.
Right.
So it is the festival of light in a sense. And what is really interesting is that, the word Lucifer in English, it's the name of Satan, the devil. Mm. So Lucifer actually comes from the same root as light, and it means bearer of light. So how strange is that?
Really?
So language is really strange. I mean, that the sort of the most evil character
is also the bearer of light.
Is the bearer of light. And another definition of Diwali is the triumph of good over evil.
Yeah, the victory of Ram. Yeah.
I don't know if you know, but we obviously firecrackers are very closely associated with Diwali, right?
Yeah. Sure.
And we know our firecrackers by Indian names like Charkhi, for example. You know what that Charkhi is?
Of course, I know Charkhi. Yeah.
Spins on
flower
the ground.
pot.
So do you know what that's called in English?
Charkhi.
Yeah.
No.
It's called a Catherine wheel.
A Catherine wheel.
Yeah.
But do they use it?
They do.
For which festival?
So the British have something called Guy Fawkes Day, and they actually burst firecrackers on that day. And the Americans use it on the 4th of July.
But they use the charkhi.
That's one of the things. And there's a name for it in English, as I said. It's the Catherine wheel, and there's a history to why it's called the Catherine wheel.
Please enlighten us.
Yeah. So it's actually a very Christian kind of history, because this is taken from the name of Saint Catherine of Alexandria. So she was condemned to death in the most horrible way, as it used to happen those days. So there was something, so people used to be stretched out on a big cart wheel, along the spokes of the wheel, and then the wheel used to be turned, and there would be a rod on which the bones of the person
Oh my
would
God.
break. So, and that was called, breaking on the wheel.
Okay.
And the legend goes that when she touched the wheel, it just shattered into many pieces, and so she was saved, and that's why she was made a saint.
Okay.
By the Catholic Church. And this breaking wheel, because of this breaking wheel, which she broke.
Sure.
So the charkhi became known as Catherine wheel, the Catherine wheel, to commemorate this.
I'm curious to know about what the Jobson dictionary is.
Yeah. So there is a very old dictionary, or a glossary of terms, which was written during the British period in India. It's what is called an Anglo-Indian dictionary. Now, Anglo-Indian today means people of mixed descent, but at that time what it meant was anything to do with both Britain and India was called Anglo-Indian.
Okay.
So this is an Anglo-Indian dictionary because it was a dictionary of terms, words and phrases which either were taken from Indian languages or which the British started using for the first time in India. And this book was named Hobson Jobson.
Okay.
Now, this is very, very interesting because Hobson Jobson, they're basically two British surnames, right?
Yeah.
So what does it have to do with India at all? So
they must have written it.
No, they didn't. It was written by a gentleman called Yule.
Oh.
So I've got a copy of the dictionary, but at first, before I got it, I thought it must have been written by these two guys. But no, they're not written by people with these surnames. Hobson Jobson comes, believe it or not, from Hassan Hussein.
Oh God.
During Muharram, people cry, Ya Hassan, Ya Hussein, because they were the grandsons of the Prophet Muhammad, and who were killed in the clashes between the Shias and Sunnis. So during Muharram, people they shout out Ya Hassan, Ya Hussein on the streets. So for the British, it was like, oh, look, the natives are celebrating one of their festivals.
Oh my God.
And they couldn't say Hassan Hussein, so they turned it into Hobson Jobson.
But, I want to focus a little bit because it's also fun and it's Diwali and it's light and, English words that have emerged from India.
Right.
Which the roots are Indian. Enlighten us and take us through those words which we have gifted them, of course, apart from many other things.
Yeah. So which they stole from us, you mean?
Yes.
So the British looted many words, many things and many words from India, loot being one of them.
Loot, the Hindi word loot.
From Hindi. Okay. So, and there's an interesting history to it. So there was the Governor General of Bengal was Warren Hastings, and he was accused of looting the state instead of governing it. And there was a trial, and of course he was acquitted because
he's British.
He's British, and that's what they were all doing in India, right?
Exactly.
So he was acquitted.
That was the brief.
Yeah, but there was, to help the world at large understand what this whole trial was about, there was actually a little booklet or book created which was Indian vocabulary, and it had the meanings of these so-called Anglo-Indian words like loot in it. So,
but now loot is a globally...
Yeah, it's used by everybody.
Yeah, globally used and accepted term.
Yeah. So other words related to thievery are thug and dacoit, which came from India. So the word thug comes from the Hindi word thug. So the thugs traditionally, they were these highway robbers. They were armed highway robbers.
It's a Hindi word.
Yeah, thug. So what they used to do was, so there was actually a community of thugs, and what they used to do was they would dress and pretend to be regular travelers, and they would befriend other travelers, and then when they were least expecting it, they would kill them and obviously rob them. So these were thugs. But today what is interesting is that language keeps evolving, and thug today has such a different meaning even from the traditional British meaning of thug, because the American rapper Tupac talked about thug life.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he has a famous thug life tattoo, and he says that thug life stands for the hate you give little infants F's everybody. So basically, it's saying that the reason that people take to crime is because of the way they were treated in childhood, and it's a big statement about sort of social dynamics in America. And dacoity is sort of, according to the Indian Penal Code, it's armed robbery by 5 or more people. So it's got so it's from dacoity.
Oh, yeah,
It's dacoity.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, today.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that is something really interesting.
Yeah, yeah. So, this isn't all about you. I know you're the Indian nut, but I want to turn the tables on you. Rather, I'm going to turn the laptop on you. And this is a rapid fire quiz.
Oh my God, you're testing me.
Yeah, to see how good your English is.
On camera?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not that hard, but I'm going to show you pictures of certain things, and they all represent English words which have Indian origins, and you have to guess what the words are.
Okay,
if you don't,
keep them easy.
Yeah, they're. I mean, for me, they're easy. I don't know how easy they'll be.
All right.
Let's see.
After all, you're British educated.
Yeah, but come on, the Indian education is no less.
Sure.
Yeah, so let's see what you got.
Okay,
Sonali.
fine.
Okay. So let's start. So,
like, this is a shampoo.
Yeah.
So you want me to give you the Indian word?
Yeah. What Indian word does it come from?
Champu. Champi.
Correct.
Okay.
So, I mean, in case your viewers don't know, India gave the world their first shampoo.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, we should discuss that too. Yeah. I was just like, okay, let's go.
Okay.
Avatar.
Yeah.
In India, avatar.
So yeah, exactly. So Avatar made this word popular in the rest of the world, and maybe many of the people who use it don't know that it comes from Hinduism, so to speak.
Yep.
Yep.
As avatar.
Avatar.
He looks like a fake Gora Baba, but I mean Guru.
Yes. So guru is another word, guru, which comes from India, and it's popularly used in the whole world. This is a tough one. Yeah.
Looks like a temple gathering.
Yeah. So, okay.
I wouldn't know.
Let me tell you. So, it's represents the word juggernaut.
Oh.
Now, juggernaut in English means an unstoppable force, but it comes from the avatar, or rather the form of Vishnu, which is Lord Jagannath.
What?
Yes, Lord and it comes from Puri in Odisha, where every year there is a Rath festival. Which is a chariot where the Jagannath with his siblings, 2 other huge statues, they're carried on this chariot, and that chariot is huge with huge wheels, and it's got that unstoppable force, and that's where this word comes from. Bungalow, and which comes from Bangla, exactly. When the British came and they started living in these huge mansions, they started calling them bungalows. Come on, it's rapid fire, Sonali.
Catamaran.
Yes, catamaran. So this is from a Tamil word, kattamaram, which basically means logs.
Really?
Yes,
Repeat it?
kattamaram.
Kattamaram.
Something like that. I can't, my Tamil pronunciation
But
is
I'm
not.
familiar,
So do you know kattamaram?
No.
Okay, it basically means logs and rope.
Okay.
Because basically a catamaran traditionally is just logs tied with a rope.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
I've actually been on one. Okay. Caught. So just think of how an
Katia?
American would say caught.
Cat.
So it's a cart.
Oh.
So that's where the word caught comes
Oh.
from. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but what is Gabbar Singh?
He's a thug. Thug.
Yeah, a thug or a dacoit.
Oh.
Yeah. So this was, we already covered this word. Okay, this.
Butter chicken.
No, I know. I think the color is a bit off. This is supposed.
Dal makhani.
Chutney.
That's
Chutney.
hilarious.
It's obviously
Of course.
the whole word uses this
Yeah.
word now, and it comes from chutney.
Sure.
And that's it. Namaste.
Namaste. Lovely. I
Yeah.
think I did quite well.
You did very well.
Thanks.
I'm very, very impressed with you.
Yeah.
everything they say about you is correct.
Ooh, too much. I also want to talk about English words which acquire their curious meanings from Hindi. So
Right.
if you can,
Yeah.
throw some light on a few words.
Yeah, so I mean, it's for example, the word off. We think of off like let's go. He went off, or
In
turn-
India, how people use off?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
वो
off ho
ho
gaya.
gaya.
I was shocked.
So the first time my driver didn't come to work and he said, "Mera chacha off ho gaya," and I was like thinking his uncle is an appliance which was switched off. I mean, I know that's really rude, but so
It is funny though.
And also I've realized the first time I told my driver to switch the AC in the car off, he looked completely shocked
Right?
because for him off means it's dying.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
They doesn't
No,
mean on off.
No, no. I'll tell you what. I got an off at office, so he thought somebody had died.
Acha,
So yeah, so like off has the significance of dying. And the funniest one that I've heard is the word shit. So first time my driver almost ran over somebody and then he braked. So I seem to be learning a lot of English from my driver. So he said shit. So I thought that's the way we say oh shit.
Yeah.
But then the next time I encountered this word, I realized it got a slightly different meaning. So I was on a train, a local train, and this kid was eating ice cream, and she dropped the ice cream, and the mother was very upset, and she said shit bolo. So it's almost like something you use. It's almost like saying sorry or like excusing yourself after you have.
What?
Yeah. So there are these.
This is bizarre.
Yeah.
I've never heard of this earlier. Really?
Just observe.
They say it's an apology.
It's almost like something you say to negate the mistake that you've made. I don't know what it is.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Very enlightening. Let's look at also some unique regional English
Yeah.
that has become
Yeah. So
everyday parlance.
As the English nut, I try to do stuff on the regional Indian variations of English. So recently, because it was Durga Puja, I did something as the Benglish nut. So it was like a light-hearted look at Benglish, which is the unique way some Bengalis speak English. And there are these unique words that are used in Bengal. So to give you an example, if I say Sonali, your face cutting is lovely. Face cutting means your features. You've got beautiful features. So face cutting.
Okay.
Another one is if I say, wow, you've got dash push. So it means that you're very dashing.
What?
Yeah, dash push. So there are.
This is peculiar just to Bengal.
Yeah. So I think that once I posted this video, there were some people said, oh, even in my part of the country, but I have only
Dash push.
I don't remember which one. So another one is cup dish. So instead of
Cup
saying
dish, cup saucer.
cup and saucer, you don't say that. You say cup dish.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
nice.
so things like that. I've got this other character who is the Sardar, and usually the Sardar is the butt of jokes, and I didn't want my Sardar to be
the butt of jokes.
The butt of jokes. So I have this series of short videos, and each one is about a typical a word that's typically mispronounced in India. So it always starts with the Sardar act. So the English nut and the Sardar. I'm in a double role, and
wow.
So like a word pops up on screen. Let's say it's lingerie, and the Sardar says lingari. Or if it's almond, he says almond.
I would also like you to, for the corporate audience that we have, people who are working in, corporate India, some tips on, common email mistakes, language mistakes one makes.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. So one of the most common mistakes that like drives me up the wall is the way the word revert is used. Now the word revert actually means to turn back into an earlier state. So if you send me an email and I say I will revert to you, it means I will turn into Sonali. Perish the thought. So yeah, and revert back is, first of all, revert means turn back, and if you say revert back, that means turn back. So another thing is that I hear people say in my office is that so and so is not on his desk. So I visualize this person, like climb, it's at your desk. Get the preposition right. So and so is not on his desk today. When people are late for meetings, they always give an excuse that like they got held up in traffic. And I hear a lot of people say I was stuck up in traffic. So I asked him that, were you being snooty in traffic? Because stuck up means snooty. If you're stuck,
Do they get it?
I hope so, but if not, well.
I have one also. I think most Indian households, they say, uh, you know, switch. They don't say switch the light on. They say light on, light off the light.
Off
on the light and
Correct.
off the light.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, correct. So that is again, I mean, that's unique to India. Nowhere else would people say on the light and off the light. The other one, which is very, very commonly used in our fraternity, is the word. So, a memory device is a mnemonic, which is spelled MNEMONIC, and it's pronounced mnemonic. But people tend to call it mnemonic.
Okay.
And so the client will ask, so what is the mnemonic you're going to use in my ad? And mnemonic is PNEUMONIC, and it means related to the lungs, like pneumonia. So one should really be careful.
So what did you do when such a situation occurs?
So, recently one of my colleagues did it. So I didn't want to embarrass him in front of the client. So on the way back to the office, I said, by the way, it's mnemonic.
But I hear you have quite a reputation that you just
At times I forget myself.
You don't address the person. You just use the word
in the correct way,
the correct manner, and move on.
Yeah, I do that as well. But I'm trying,
You're trying to take on this larger hat of.
I'm trying to be more noble about it these days. The other one is the word less. There's less, lower, fewer. There are these three words for a reason.
Okay.
If it's something that you can count, if there were supposed to be 10 diyas and there are only 5, don't say there are less diyas.
Yeah.
You say there are fewer diyas. And if my salary is as not as big as yours, don't say I have less salary. Say I have a lower salary. So lower, fewer, and less. And another thing that I want to say is that something which can't be counted, you use less with. So you can have less time because you can't count. You can keep on subdividing time into minutes, seconds, nanoseconds, and all that. So things which are not countable, you can use less with. But if you can count them, use fewer. And another thing is few versus a few. So a lot of people, I've seen a lot of emails, people write, there are few things that I have to tell you. What that means is that I have almost nothing to tell you. What you mean to say is there are a few things that I have to tell you. A few means that there are some things. So there's quite a significant difference between few and a few. And granted, as I said in the beginning, English is a peculiar language.
Sure.
So, it's very difficult to give people rules for these things, but it sounds wrong if you've been speaking it long enough.
Sure. And if we're speaking it, then we might as well speak it well.
Yes.
Yeah. But on that note, thank you so much, the English Nut. Thank you so much for doing this with us and making our Diwali episode something unique and something that is, educational and of course entertaining for, our viewers. Thank you so much. Well, time to wish our viewers happy Diwali, Shumanto. On that note, thank you so much. We hope you enjoyed watching this episode as much as I enjoyed having the English Nut with me. Wishing all our viewers a very happy and prosperous Diwali from Team Brand Equity.
And happy Diwali from me too. I'm the English Nut, and it's bye for now.